to learning how to be healthy. Thank you. And ultimately, when we are taking care of our health, we need to understand what we should be doing at home. One of the things that I have found personally for myself is that thank you, Martha. Did everybody sign in? No? Okay. If you just hand that, just take it with you and hand it to the person or next to you, and they'll pass it on. So I've learned that for me, these workshops are as much beneficial for me as they are for you. The reason for that is because I'm constantly reminding myself of the things that I have to do to stay healthy. And we have maybe heard these things before, maybe not. But ultimately, being reminded and understanding what needs to be done is an important aspect. And I ask, and my hope is that you will be open-minded enough to take one thing out of here, one nugget, that you may be able to share with someone or may be able to use. What action step, what is it that you're going to do when you go home? The objective behind these workshops is to give you active things that you can do when you go home, and ultimately understand everything that's going on. Having said that, I'm taking time from my kiddos, because I believe this is that important. A half an hour of time, once a month or every 3 months or whatever is your schedule, is an important factor. It's important enough for me that I want you guys to understand that it's time away from my family too. So 30 minutes is all I'm asking for. Having said that, again, thank you. One of the big things about chiropractic that most people don't understand is how many of you have been to a chiropractor before you came here? Right. So that you would not have seen before. 15 years ago, most people you'd raise it, maybe 1 or 2 people would have been in the room that had been to a chiropractor before, but like 90% of you raised your hand. So there, somewhere along the line, someone is understanding, and you're getting the education of understanding how important it is to your health, and that's my goal. Okay, because I can adjust you, I can correct your spinal structure, I can get your nervous system functioning better, but ultimately you're going to make the choices and decisions that are going to help keep that in line. Let's start. So the time is now. Okay, that is the name of the workshop for tonight. The time is now for healthy choices. Can you change the things or choices that you've made in the past? You can't, right? So that's a big one. So you can't change the choices that you've already made. It has brought you to this level, though. It has brought you here. So now we're looking to get to the next level. And the next level, you can start now. You can decide, I'm going to change. You can't predict what the future is going to be. And one of my favorite quotes comes from a cartoon. Has anybody ever seen Kung Fu Panda? Okay. Yeah. She's like raising her hand like, I have. Well, so am I. I love cartoons. But he talks, one of the older master, he's a turtle, I can't remember his name right now. But he's talking to the panda, and he says, the past is history, the future is a mystery. Right? So you get that. Now is a gift. That's why they call it the present. So the choices you make now is a present. It is, you have to look at every moment that you have and you spend with your family and making the choices now that you make that will change and affect what's going on. So I put that up there because I just thought it was cute. I feel like that after I get adjusted. I don't know about you guys. I got a lot of people, but that's the feeling I get. That's my happy face. I want you guys to be happy. Ultimately, my biggest thing in this community is to see the community thrive together. That is actually, I say those words to myself and it sparks something in me because it's an important, and I want to see you happy. I want to see you happy with your families. You going home after work, not exhausted, and being able to run around with children, grandchildren, spouses. I want to see that for you guys. But health is at the core of that, and that's what we're looking at. tonight we're going to talk about some things that are not so happy in sense, but it'll give you a different outlook on things. I'm going to be going over a lot of statistics tonight, and that's why this is one of the more advanced workshops. So the number one cause of death in the U.S., who knows what that is? Heart disease. Go ahead. What did you say?
Cancer.
Cancer, heart disease. What else? Stroke. Okay. And we're doing a whole workshop on strokes and the risk factors in January. It's going to be really good. Heart disease causes 631,636 deaths annually. That comes from the CDC Morbidity Mortality Weekly Report. What's number two? Now, car accidents is up there, but not that high. It's cancer. Okay? It is cancer. So since 2005, cancer has become the leading cause of death for people under the age of 85. Think about this. It has become the leading cause of death for people. It used to be that people that were older and their bodies and immune functions were breaking down would get cancer. Not anymore. Why has it changed like that? How many people know young individuals that have passed away from cancer? I mean, I do. I mean, everybody. Look, everybody here. Okay, so there's a problem. We need to look at it differently, because if it's become the number one since 2005, okay, or excuse me, the number one cause of death we're doing something wrong. Okay, it has to be a thought process that we have to look at. Although the total number of deaths from cardiovascular disease for all ages is larger than cancer. So here, the total number of deaths from CVs or cardiovascular diseases for all ages, so this is everything, above 85, below 85, is larger than cancer. So the thing is, these are huge numbers, okay? These are huge numbers, and you know, it scares people because you don't get this information from other people. This is stuff that's put out there, but nobody knows about it. So number 3 cause of death in the U.S., iatrogenic, physician-induced deaths. Okay, 250,000 deaths annually. So look at this. This is the medical field. 106,000 non-error negative effects of drugs. So you're talking about prescription drugs that are given normally. They're given in the proper doses. They're taken properly. Causes about 106,000 non-error, 106,000 deaths per year. This is equivalent to somewhere in the vicinity of about 2 jet airliners, jumbo jet airliners, going down every 2 or 3 days. Let me ask you a question about this. If you were flying out and someone told you that, hey, you know, there's a chance that your jet airliner is going to die, is going to crash, okay, and that is true at all times, okay, would you get on that plane? If there was 2 jet airliners going down every 2 or 3 days, would you fly as much? What do you think would happen to the airline industry? It's crazy. And if a plane is at 97%, because have you ever seen, has anybody ever flown on a plane? Have you ever seen in the cockpit where the pilots are sitting there and they have this huge checklist of stuff that they have to do? Okay, if that checklist, if it comes back that jet is at 97%, not at 99.9% or whatever it is, if something on that checklist is off, how many people have ever got pissed off at a delay?
Yeah.
Thank God. Think of it that way, because what they're doing is they're protecting your lives. Okay? When it's at 97%, yet, would you accept 97% from your own body? That's what people do. They're like, oh, I'm good. So the thing is, you have to really look at that. I saw Brian really squinting at this and looking at the numbers, but 80,000 infections in hospitals. Do you realize that every day you're in the hospital, your chance of getting an infection exponentially increases? Not a linear increase like this. It goes up like this. It's an exponential increase. I mean, it is insane. That's why I remember in 2008, I think was when I had my surgery. I had 4 hernias in my gut here, and they put mesh in there, and I was ready to go home. They're like, no, you're staying overnight. I go, no, I want to go home. You know, and they're like, no, you're going to stay the night. So the first thing they asked me, I got out of surgery, okay, and the first thing the nurse asks me, I'm still in the stupor of general anesthesia. Would you like a pneumococcal vaccine and a flu vaccine? And I looked. Who's laughing? Oh, your Martha's laughing. And I looked at her and I said, "Excuse my language. What the hell do I want that for?" Okay, what do I want that? But they know that the risk factor, because my body is immune deficient at that point. So that they know my body, but yet they're going to stick something into my body that is just going to challenge my immune function as it is. I was like, no, I'm good. And they're like, oh, well then you have to do this, so you can breathe. You can, make sure that you don't get pneumonia. Take this. They call it a reverse spirometer. Okay, a spirometer is something that measures when you blow air into it and how much your lung capacity is. A reverse spirometer is you suck in, okay, and it measures how much capacity you're sucking in. The reason they're teaching you that is because when you are depressed from all the general anesthesia, you don't breathe as heavy. You breathe very shallow, so water gets stuck in your lungs and you're not able to get this stuff out, so you're more likely to get pneumonia. So rather than teach people how to actively breathe, they say, here, let's give you a shot. Okay, and I was used to it because growing up I was an asthmatic, so I learned breathing techniques. So I was sucking in, they looked like, oh my God. And they said, you have to do that every half an hour. I go, good, did it every 15 minutes. And it was hard because my whole core was opened and put in mesh in. So it hurt when I breathed. I had one of those cushions, I was like, oh my God, this hurts. But the thing is, if you teach people how to take care of it, it's even like an asthmatic, if you teach them how to breathe beforehand, it helps to flush things out, and it feels uncomfortable. But it's important that, the infection, that's why they start giving shots right away, but it tests your immune function.
They won't do operations or surgery on a hiatus hernia, will they?
Hiatal hernia? Hiatal, they might. It depends. Yeah. It depends. There's 45,000 other errors in hospitals, 12,000 unnecessary surgeries, 7,000 medication errors, 250,000 total deaths. These numbers are scary. My dad has passed away. He passed away in 2006, and he had an adenocarcinoma. He had a cancer in one of his kidneys, and he lived for like 9 years after they removed it. But it was interesting. I come home from school and I was looking at the CAT scans, and I'm like, wow, that's huge. And they said, I go, Dad, it was big. You could see it on the screen. And I noticed it was on the left side, and then I was reading the report, and it said it was on the right side. They were about to do surgery. And I was like, holy crap. They're like, oh, well, we look at this stuff first. I was like, you know what? We're going to find somebody else to do it. Because the report was wrong. But, so if they had looked at the report and not looked at the pictures, well, we look at the pictures. But, you got to be careful. You have to be careful. You have to be aware. Every time you go in for a surgery, it's important. So the thing is, it's now. You have to make that choice. Am I going to question my doctor? Why are they giving me the medication? Is there a study for it? Okay. What is the purpose? And they get mad at you when you question it. They get angry but you know what? You can do that. So that's a big thing. So this is, if you start adding up all the deaths annually from medical care, it actually takes over as the #1 killer. And this comes from Gary Null. He wrote a book, Death by Medicine, Life Extension, and these are all the things. Look at that. The numbers are insane. The numbers are insane. When you show this to people, it makes me angry. I'm not here to make you angry. I really want to make you happy. But the thing is, you have to understand that this is stuff that's out there that nobody knows. Okay? Go ahead.
I'm wondering if unnecessary procedures would include unnecessary X-rays over the long term.
Well, it's possible. There's two theories on X-rays. There's a linear model and there's something called a Hormesis model, and that's something if you want to talk about. There's actually, in the Hormesis model, it actually shows that some exposure to radiation is healthy. So like sun radiation, some exposure to it is healthy because it brings back vitamin D. Okay, but you can sit in front of a TV and get radiation all day long, but people don't think about that. So the thing is, you have to be aware of how much and how little, and things of that nature. That's why, like, the machine I use is a high frequency machine, and it's very minimal doses, And there's a reason for that. But stuff does add up in your system. So you have to look at it. But there are a lot of studies on that. And there's different models on it, and that's what you have to look at. So the benefits of maintenance care. Patients 65 years and older who had maintenance chiropractic care for 5 years or longer had better overall health habits. Why do you think that is? What's that?
You feel better.
You feel better, but you're also, because you're learning how to take care of your body. Okay, and they are usually eat better, they usually exercise, they usually do things. But this is the key here. They spent only 31% of the national average for healthcare services. 50% reduction in medical provider visits. You want to solve the crisis with Social Security? Get people under maintenance care. But do you know in the Social Security code book or their laws, there's I wish I had the quote, I don't have it in front of me, I have to paraphrase. It says that they will not pay for preventative care or maintenance care. That's what it says. It says it, there's a specific verse that says, we will not pay for preventative or maintenance care. Wow, really? You could save yourself all this money if you did. But they don't. Okay, so it's really important to understand this. And these numbers are really important. That's why when people say, oh, well, I'll wait and I'll take care of it, or I'll take a medication, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. And you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but the problem is that we are spending more and more money in this country. We spend like 80% of the world's money on pharmaceuticals. Okay? I mean, it is insane how much money we spend on pharmaceuticals, and yet we are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. There is more diabetes, there is more obesity, there is more, kids are getting sick, there is more, autism, there is more ADHD, there's more kids on Iep's than I could even imagine when I was growing up. Okay, everybody knows what an Iep is? It's an individualized education plan for kids that are quote unquote, need help. I mean, it's, being politically correct. It's hard to, hard to say, hard to figure out. But, I mean, this is now. I mean, these are the things. The only people that are going to change it are the people that are educated about it. That's the only people. You have a choice to do that. I don't want to be here. I don't want to end up in the hospital. I've had 3 knee surgeries. Okay? I have a compression fracture in my neck. I have basically bone on bone in my knees. I still run, I still exercise, I still do stuff. I'm 52 years old, and people look at me like, I see people my age, and I look at them and I cringe. Because I get home at night, I'm tired. Because my knees hurt. My knees hurt. I'm right on them all day long. Okay, but the thing is, it's not going to stop me from being healthy, because I know that if I sit still and don't do anything with them, it's just going to get worse. People don't understand, oh, it hurts so much. Get up then, because movement actually inhibits pain. So it's important to understand, and that's how you prevent, because these people are more educated about it. They understand it. So those are the things that we're looking at. So this was Center for Disease Control, leading cause of death in the U.S. Data are for the U.S. numbers of deaths, and this is the actual numbers. This is, we said 250 before. There's different numbers. They vary depending on what you look at. Accidents, 121,000. Stroke, 137,000. Diabetes has climbed the ladder quite a bit. It's climbed the ladder. I'm looking, they usually don't put out numbers for like every 10 years, so you gotta wait. So usually when you get numbers, they're about 10 years old. Okay, Alzheimer's, influenza, pneumonia. And the interesting thing about this one, this is what the number that they use. They say that you should get the flu shots and things of that nature. Okay, I don't get a flu shot at all. I don't get pneumonia, I don't get flu shots. I don't get that stuff. My body responds to it. The true factor here, because what they do is they take, oh, that person had pneumonia, so now they have the flu. That's why they need the shot. It's just the way they calculate the numbers sometimes is scary. So you have to know what the numbers, what validates the numbers. Okay, because when you're looking at research. Nephritis is in the kidneys. Nephrotic syndrome, septicemia is infection of the blood. And this is 2006, so they should be coming out with a new one fairly soon. Presidential Task Force in 2000 estimated the costs associated with medical errors in lost income, disability, healthcare costs is $29 billion annually. huge, huge numbers. Huge. You have to be aware of what's going on. And let me tell you something. What you pay in this office, or don't pay, or whatever it is, your insurance pays, is like this. It's like 1% of the total cost of all the stuff you do here. But yet people balk at they walk in the door and they balk at paying for their own health. Okay, and you know what? This cost that goes through here, these medical errors, guess who pays for it? We all do. In higher premiums and higher costs for health care, for everything. You want these prices to go down? You want your premiums to go down? Start saying, hey, I want preventative care. I want to change things that are going on. Okay, the thing is, if you want to stay healthy, the insurance companies and everybody else is not going to help you stay healthy. All they care about is crisis. When you get into crisis, what ends up happening is they're like, oh, we can take care of this. It's like a car accident. You have a car accident, okay, and what happens to your insurance rates? They usually skyrocket or they go up, depending on what whose fault it is, what happens, and what's going on, right? But you don't want to use your insurance, but you have it. Okay, but with health insurance, it's backwards. Now, if you've given into the system for years and years and years, you should have that benefit. I absolutely agree. That benefit should be there for you. If you've given into it for years, you've given into the Social Security system, you've given into that, you've been working and you've given and given, that benefit should be yours. I agree with that. But there's a problem because they don't have enough money, because this is what happens every year. Okay, so you have to start looking at it a little differently. JAMA. JAMA is the Journal of the American Medical Association. Barbara Starfield of the Johns Hopkins School of Hygiene and Public Health. Pretty good place, huh? I mean, Johns Hopkins, pretty high place there. Johns Hopkins is a very well-respected school. That's from iatrogenic causes are high, which we talked about. Our U.S. health indicators are low. How can that possibly be? We spend the most money per capita, or one of the most monies per capita on health, quote unquote health, and yet our indicators for health are low. And these numbers, again, I have to update these numbers. 12th out of 13 countries on health indicators, 15th out of 25 industrialized countries ranked by the World Health Organization. And this, we do a whole workshop on healthcare and self-reform, health reform, self-reform. Our thinking needs to change before ranking healthcare can change. What will it take for us to make a change be a change? Care, not treatment, is the answer. Drug surgery and hospitals are rarely the answer to chronic health problems, which is something that we have. And I don't know what your beliefs are. Facilitating the God-given healing capacity that all of us have is the key to improving the diet, exercise, and lifestyle are basic. Care. People forget about that. They talk about, oh, can you treat me for this? Can you treat me for that? Treating you for a symptom or sign is not going to help you get healthier. Okay? Taking care of yourself, regardless of what the conditions are, you have to work on improving your lot. Okay, and regardless of what the symptoms are, you have to work on doing that. Okay, and it's up to you to decide now what you want to do. So these are some of the things that we have to do, because our diet, God, we do many workshops, and we've been talking about diet with people lately, left and right, and talking about all the processed stuff. Like, and I'm sorry I did this to you guys, but last week I bought cookies from Sam's Club. It was for, we're gearing up for a Patient Appreciation Day to allow you to bring people in and get checked. It helps us kick off our food drive for 3 non-perishable food items. Someone that you love or care about can come in and get checked if you're presently a patient. Okay, so I had cookies out, to share with you guys. And it was funny, by the end of the week, the cookies, we put them away and they were there. And I went into the container and I opened up the box and I picked up one of the cookies and I felt it. I was like, wow, this cookie is still soft. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever made cookies at home? Okay, how long do they stay soft? Maybe a day, an hour, you know, I mean, it's like, that, imagine all the stuff that's in there, it's processed, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, next time I can't do this to these poor people, you know, so the thing is, you have to really think about that, you know. So this is Barbara Starr, Dr. Barbara Starfield from Johns Hopkins University. She was the one that said this. As a matter of fact, there was a study done in Duke Duke recently. I forget the guy's last name. I do it in one of my other workshops. And he found that the #1 reason for deaths in the United States was people making poor health choices. Okay? Some people call that stupidity. I just call it ignorance. You really need to know what's going on. This is from Institute of Medicine reports that that's from iatrogenic causes range, and those are the ranges that we had. The United States uses its technology to diagnose and treat. The U.S. ranks among the lowest in health. Japan uses technology to diagnose, and this is not matched by the high rates of treatment. So the thing is, they don't always treat based on diagnosis here. Okay, they do other things, and Japan ranks as one of the highest in health, in the indicators. So it's not matched by the high rates of treatment. They diagnose it, but they don't always say, okay, you need to have this treatment. Sometimes they let the body do its work, because we have an innate ability to heal. And that's the key to everything that's going on. You know, having said that, we do a whole workshop on aging. And here, the most common is deaths is appropriate countermeasures. So if you look back at this, the countermeasure here is to treat, where the countermeasure in Japan is to see how the body responds to things first. Okay. We must educate people not on the countermeasures, but on the proactive measures of healthy living. Now, so what actions are you going to take when you go home? Who's going to eat a little healthier? Yeah, there you go.
It's gonna go for a run, that's getting really dark.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it gets dark very
I
early.
wasn't expecting it to be.
Yeah, it gets dark at 7 o'clock now. I got up this morning; it was really dark, and I was like, and I get up at 5, and it was early. It used to be light out, and I was like, okay. We need to change our level of thinking. Live the life of a truthful trainer. Don't lie to yourself. Don't say, oh, it's just one piece, because you get into the habits of doing bad things, and they just, oh, it's okay, it won't hurt me. How many times have you heard that before?
Dr. Sam,
Yes.
I think your body talks to you. You know what
Absolutely.
it rejects or you need, or if you're lacking something or whatever.
Absolutely, and the body does.
Totally
It
believe
does.
that.
It does. But the thing is, people that don't know how to listen to their bodies, like I said, like my niece, they you know, at home, I go home at night, I've been on my legs, and they talk to me. They tell me, hey, you know, you got to be better. But what I do is I do things that will keep them mobile when I get home, and I stretch them, and I do things when I leave here. Every morning when before I come in to adjust, I'm in the shower. My wife's like, why does it take you so long in the shower? And the reason is because I'm stretching. I stretch my whole body in the shower because it's warm in there, and I'm practicing adjusting. Because I need to have my muscles warmed up before I come into the office. I need to know and that has helped me prevent any injuries. I have a lot of friends that have been out as long as I have, and they have injuries that they can't get over. As a matter of fact, disability insurance is more expensive than my malpractice insurance. Okay, because it's more of a danger to me than I am to the people that I'm taking care of. Okay, so the thing is, it's important to understand. So that's why, like, it's the community that I'm concerned about. It's the community, getting engaged in the community. And you guys are my pipeline to the community. You know, the people that you know, like I get involved with the Penco Community Center. We're doing, on November 4th, we're doing a run to help a couple of girls who lost their mom just recently, you know, because they have no money. Their dad was 5 years ago and their mom just about 5-6 weeks ago. We're doing a 5K run benefit. It's an inexpensive run. It's $5. I don't want any of the money. I'm just trying to help these people. Okay, because the thing is, we want to help those people. We want to help those people. And you know what? If you want to help yourselves, get people in and get them checked. Okay, why? This way then they know what's going on. Whether they decide to be under care or not, totally up to them. It's totally up to them. But what is it going to hurt to just see what's going on? Everybody goes to get their teeth checked. They go for annual exams. They go for all this stuff. They never think about the spine and the structure of their spine. Okay? They never think about it. And it houses the most important system of our body. So the thing is, if you look at the hierarchy needs of our body, nutrition falls on the bottom of that pyramid. Okay? In the second rung, you have water. Okay, so you can go without food for about 3 or 4 weeks. I actually heard this in a commercial the other day, and I was like, oh wow, we talk about that all the time. And then water, about 3 or 4 days, if you're truly deprived of water. Oxygen, 3 or 4 minutes, 2 minutes if you think. And at the top is nervous system, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and the questionnaires, it asks, what's the master control system of the body? It's a nervous system, but they put down heart or circulatory system. They go, well, if your heart stops beating, yeah, but do you know that your heart can stop beating if you still have brain function? You're considered alive. You're not considered dead until your brain function is cut off. Okay, so the thing is, the nervous system is the top of that hierarchy. It's just that people don't address it as much. They put it as, like, oh, well, I'm not feeling any pain, or I'm not feeling, oh, yeah, because the nervous system has other things to focus on, like breathing and heart rate and digesting food. So those are the things I ask. Be truthful to yourself. Make sure that you are addressing these things and telling people. If they don't come here, that's great. If you want to invite them to a workshop, that's awesome. They don't have to be patients here. Just let's educate them. Tell them to watch me on Facebook. I don't care. I just want to get the information out there. And that's the key to everything that's going on. But invite people to our Patient Appreciation Day. They can come hang out and have fun and see what we're about. And they don't have to get an exam, but if they want to, we can do that too. Sign them up and do that. And then definitely, if you guys are interested in the short 5K or 1 mile walk, we're doing it for families, and take a form and go from there. Thank you very much for coming. Have a great night.